Hi, I'm Reea, and this is Inspired Wisdom. Today, I have for you our monthly Goddess Guidance Circle for November, where I do free readings and give free channeled guidance with the help of my spirit guide, the Goddess Mart, the Egyptian goddess of truth, justice, and harmony. The way we're going to start this today is we're going to close our eyes just for a few minutes. This isn't, a deep meditation. This is just a connection. So we're going to close our eyes. Now, Shyla, you might need to keep your eyes open, sweetie, because if anyone else turns up, you're going to have to let them in to the room. Don't forget, you can meditate with your eyes open and you can connect with your eyes open. You don't always have to close your eyes. It's just easier when you close your eyes and connect into your high guidance, because what you're doing is you're going within and you're blocking out all the external reality that the ego is very invested in. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'll get you to all close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. Depends on where you are and what you're doing. And let's start. Okay? All right. So what I do when I'm connecting is I always close my eyes and I take a couple of big, deep breaths. We don't breathe deeply enough in our lives. Usually we're in a state of stress and anxiety a lot of the time in our lives, and we breathe in the upper part of our chest. So do belly breaths. Just take a few nice, big, deep belly breaths. And as you breathe out, relax your shoulders. Just feel into every part of your body. Just feel your beingness. And feel if there's any tension anywhere in any of your body. And just allow yourself to relax that part of you. So just breathing and relaxing. And letting go. Now let's imagine that we are deep in the forest. And it could be night or day, depending on what you like. And we're a circle, a group of women who are joining together to give service to ourselves and all of our loved ones, to join our energies together. So I want you to imagine that you're standing in that circle and you're actually holding hands with each other. It doesn't matter whether you're imagining something or you're really seeing it, because your unconscious mind doesn't know the difference. So imagine, see in your mind's eye, if you're capable of doing that, standing in a circle, holding the hands of everybody that you're in this meeting with. And I want you to take your awareness to your heart chakra. This is an important way of tuning into your own higher guidance, your higher self, your inner being. Focus on your heart chakra and feel the feeling of loving another. It's so easy for most women to feel that feeling of loving another. And if it helps, bring to mind someone in your life that you really, really love. Now, don't bring to mind someone that you love where you have a difficult karmic relationship with that person. Make this person that you're thinking of right now someone who's really easy to love. Sometimes it's a pet or an animal or a baby, or someone that you've always had a relationship with where there's been no conflict and no difficulty. And bring that person to mind, focusing on your heart chakra, and feel that feeling of love that you have for that person. Just let yourself feel how much you love them. Now that feeling of love is the energy that is God, Goddess, all that is the universe. That is your power. That love is what the universe is made of. And imagine that energy is pink. And let that energy spread out through your hands to the entire circle of women here with us now. Just let that love flow out of you towards all of the women that are on this call, in this meeting, imagining them in that circle. And it's pink, and it's light, and it's sparkly. Now fill the circle between us all. Fill the circle with that beautiful pink, sparkly, amazing light. Fill the circle with light. This is your power and your wisdom. Feel what it feels like to hold hands with all of the women here, even if you don't know them. To be in a circle of love and power and energy. And let's call into that circle God, Goddess, all that is, but specifically the divine feminine, the sacred feminine, the divine mother, Mother Gaia, the goddess that we all chose to incarnate in this lifetime as the goddess. You are all goddesses. You are the goddess incarnate on planet Earth in this time-space reality, in this dimension. That was your choice. And here you are, being the goddess on planet Earth. And the goddess is the creator of all that is. She is Mother Nature. She's the nurturing mother, the one that holds everybody when they're in pain and they're suffering, when they're sad and hurt. We do that. We do it easily and effortlessly as part of our being. You are that goddess, but what you've forgotten, because the patriarchal religions of our planet have forced you to forget, is your power. You have the power of creation in your very bodies. You create life. You create love. You create your own reality. And you heal. Your loving heart heals, your words heal, your touch heals, the service that you give to all of the people that you love, your children, your family, partners. That service is healing. So allow that beautiful light in the circle now to become a healing light. And I want you to think of anyone that you love and that you know that needs healing today, or maybe it's even yourself who needs healing today, and allow them to step into the center of the circle. Imagine that person in your life that needs healing, standing in the center of that beautiful circle of power and love and healing. And imagine them just being bathed in that healing, beautiful, sparkly, golden, invigorating, healing light. We can't rescue anyone, but we can offer them our love and our healing and encourage them to seek healing for themselves. And that's what you're doing. And you can do this every day if you wish. Take a moment of meditation and close your eyes and send healing to anyone that you love that is struggling in your life. And there are many people on the planet who are struggling right now. And that's the role we came here to play. That's the service we chose to do when we incarnated into this lifetime as women. To be creators, healers, nurturers, lovers. And you're all doing it. Because you're all an aspect of the goddess in the here and now. And you are much more powerful than you believe you are. And I want you to recapture that power today. You create your own reality. No one else creates in your reality. No one can make you feel anything. It's not what happens to you that determines your life. It's how you react and respond to what happens. So when you respond in future from this moment on, remember you respond as the goddess. What would the goddess do? What would love say and do? Be the goddess that you are. Awaken that goddess within you. It's your power. It's magical. And if you're here now with me, it's because you chose to step into that power. Revel in it. Be it. Enjoy it. You are all magnificent, beautiful goddesses. And you came to be of service on this planet, to yourself and to others. But remember, never love anyone more than you love yourself. You are no use to them if you don't love yourself first. That's beautiful. Okay. So when you're ready, just open your eyes. Now, we're ready for questions. So I want you to all take a minute to send your question to Shyla.
Reea, we had a new person come in during the next.
Beautiful. Alida. Hi, Alida.
Oh, let me just unmute her. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you. Sorry I'm late. I'm in America, so daylight saving time messed me up.
That's okay, no problem. We're just really, really happy to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so if you've got a question, send it to Shyla. Now, Gemma, I'm going to introduce Gemma Welsh in the corner over there. There she is. She's my stepdaughter. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to talk to you about your own psychic development and the way I manage my psychic development and growth. And that is that I never read for people that I know or love. And Gemma has heard this from me before. It's not news. And that's because my ego gets in the way. When I'm reading for someone that I don't know, I'm 100% sure that all the information that comes through is not coming from my ego. It's coming from Goddess Mart, my higher self, my team in spirit. But when it's somebody that I love, there are particular things that I want for them. My ego gets involved. My need and desire gets involved of my ego personality construct. And Gemma and I have had this experience before. I remember when she was having her second baby, just 3 little boys, right? When she was having her second baby, she said, "What do you think it is?" And I was like, "I'm pretty sure it's a girl, Gemma." Now, that was the only time I've ever been wrong when it came to the birth of an unborn baby in my family. And the reason I was wrong was because she already had a little boy and I so wanted her to have a little girl.
I wanted to be a girl. Poor Riley.
I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure it's a girl." No, it was a boy. So she's got 3 little boys now. So I don't read for people that that I'm in a relationship with, personal relationship with. So that's why I'm not going to read for Gemma today. She knows that. But Gemma's really interested in developing her psychic skills and awareness. Hands up anybody else who's interested in connecting more with their own higher guidance. Yeah. And Alida and Pristine, I can't see your videos. you've got your video turned off, so I'm just going to imagine that. Shyla, are you still interested in connecting to your higher guidance?
I'm still on a bit of a break.
Okay.
It's been a very rough year.
All right. Okay. So that little meditation connection thing that we did is a good thing for you to do if you're wanting to connect to your own higher guidance. It's really good to have a ritual to start. As human beings, we respond really well to ritual. And you know that, I don't know what religion you all were or what church you belong to, but churches always are really good at that whole ritual thing. So I like to do a little ritual for myself. I always have a candle, and I usually have a crystal or two hanging in here in the background that I've got around me. That's part of my ritual. And I do that sort of connection that we just did, where I'm actually connecting through my heart chakra. That's the best way to connect to your inner self, your authentic self. So there are two separate aspects of us. There's our ego personality construct, which is the part of you that is always doubting itself. It thinks it's better than everybody else or not as good as everybody else. That's where fear and anxiety and all of that comes from your ego. And our job on the planet is to understand the difference between our ego self and our authentic self, our higher self. And in this time of the shift in consciousness on the planet, what we're doing is we're bringing down our higher self and we're blending with our higher self. They put it in some language that says the veil is thinning. The consciousness is changing on the planet, and that's all means the same thing, that we are blending with our higher self. So sometimes I like to imagine my ego self as being the left side of my brain and my higher, wiser self being the right side of my brain. And in actual fact, when Goddess Mart comes into my body, she comes in through that part of my anatomy. So she comes into the right side. So that's what you've got to do. You've always got two voices in your head. You've got your ego voice, right? Fear, doubt, insecurity, anxiety, nervousness. They don't like me. I don't like them. Separation. It's not good enough. I don't like it. All of that stuff. That's your ego. And your higher, wiser self is always the voice of love and wisdom. And that's the part of you that you've got to connect with. Now, if you're interested in psychic development and connecting to your own higher, wiser guidance, there could be masters around you. You all have guides. Everyone's usually got 2 or 3 guides, or angels, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. Everyone's got 2 or 3 guides around them, but you could also have masters around you. I had no idea until 2007 that Goddess Mart was around me, apparently since the time of my birth, waiting for me to evolve to the point where I could recognize her energy and feel her energy. And when I found out, I was like, really amazed, because, I had a pretty difficult childhood. I had a narcissistic mother and an alcoholic dad and, all of that stuff. So I had a very dysfunctional family that I came from. So, it was a great shock to me to find out that, I had this ascended master or the goddess energy around me, feeding me information. And sometimes that information just comes through as a thought that feels like your own thought. That's how they talk to you, right? They just impress their energy and wisdom and guidance into your brain and into your thoughts. So everyone has the ability to do what I'm doing and to tune into their own higher guidance. And if anyone's interested in doing that, I'd love to help you and mentor you to do that in any way that I can. Okay, so let's start with a question. Now, I have to say before I start doing questions today that obviously I'm going to do the absolute best that I can. But as I was saying to Shyla and Gemma when I got on this call, I don't like being in front of the camera. And in groups, I feel a little bit anxious. So I'm never quite the same in front of the camera or in a group that I am when I'm one-on-one with you and you're actually having a reading, but I'm going to do the absolute best that I always do. And so who's got a question today? Shyla, who's first?
Christine has asked a question.
Christine.
The pronunciation there was wrong. I've just sent it to you in direct message, Reea.
Okay. Oh, Pristine. Okay. Okay. So Pristine, do you want to show me I need to see you, darling. So you need to show me your video. Yeah, there you are. Okay. And ask me your question yourself. What's your question today? Oh, Pristine's, yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Yeah, I can
All
hear
right.
you now.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for this.
That's
So I've known about the law of attraction and certain elements of feminine energy for way too long. I'm not even going to tell you because then you would know about how old I am.
You can't be older than me, darling. I'm 64. You're not as old as me.
I'm about to catch you in a minute. But,
hey, you're looking good.
thank you. And you are too. Thank you. So I have manifested some really great things, but I seem to reach some type of invisible plateau, I guess you would call it. The stuff I really, really have wanted for a very long time, I haven't been able to successfully achieve those things, mostly my writing, which I care so much about and I want to make as beautiful and as powerful as I can. And it just seems like I'm having so many issues with just one or two things that have just been so consistent over the years. I just don't know what to do about it. So I think it might be connected to my femininity. I also had a narcissistic mother, and I was adopted. I was actually kidnapped at birth, and oh my God, it's a whole story. But I want to know how to release whatever this block is, and I really think it's tied to my connection to my femininity and maybe my issues with women. Maybe.
Okay. Can I just ask you, for all of us in Australia here, where you're calling from today? Where are you?
I'm calling from Atlanta.
Atlanta. Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hang on. I'm just going to tune in to Goddess Mark, my guide, and I'm just going to scan your frequency. So just give me a minute. Yeah. So, look, I'm really glad you've brought up this subject today. It's bringing up this whole notion of creation and law of attraction is always really important. And, you know, it brings to mind the notion that when we're on these calls and we're doing group readings, there's always something in someone else's reading that we need to hear. And if you're here, all of the others that are here today, this is probably going to be really good information for all of you. So I'm really glad that Pristine's brought up this subject. Pristine, can I ask you what it is that you're writing? What are you writing about?
So I'm finally writing about my life story, which I've been told to do that for a long time. I really resisted it because I felt like my story wasn't interesting enough. And then once I met my birth mother and my family a couple of years ago, I realized that as painful as it was to be adopted and to not know where I was from, it created a super empath. And because I had a narcissistic mother and a narcissistic father, I've dealt with nothing but narcissists all my life. And so I finally figured out how to hold my own in that space and get what I want and willpower in that space. So that's what the book is about.
Okay, so you just cut out then a little bit, so I'm just going to repeat that. This is a personal story about your life experience, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. So really importantly, what's coming through for you today is this. I was talking to the girls before about the fact that, you know, as a reader, as someone who does this work and works with individuals, I can't always tell people what they want to hear. I'm very much an uplifter. Most of the people at the end of a session with me will always say, oh, I feel really uplifted. You've made me feel so much better, because that's my story, my journey, because I had a narcissistic mother. I was taught that my only value is in what I gave to others and what I did for other people and the service that I played. And so that has become a natural part of who I am. So what I want to say to you today is, first of all, that I'm going to put a caveat on this answer, and I'm going to say there are things that happen to us as children that we carry with us for the whole of our lives. it's all very well to say, you know, we're capable of healing and transcending anything, and I totally believe that. But there's a reason why we hang on to some stuff. And this is your story, right? There's the hanging on to the way that your being was programmed and shaped because of the start that you had. Now, as a soul, we all choose our life. We choose the lifetime that we're going to be incarnated into, the country, the circumstances. We choose our parents and our family, and we choose all that, and we choose it for very good reason, because that's exactly what your soul needed to overcome karma from the past and to transcend and learn whatever it was that you needed to learn. And so that's your story, Pristine, as much as it's mine. So we're never victims. We've chosen this from a soul perspective. Now, I know that when it comes to particularly writing your own story, that it really triggers you. It triggers the stuff that is unhealed in you. And here I am at 64 years of age. I've been through so much healing. I mean, I trained at university in psychology and counselling and psychotherapy, and I've done like unbelievable amounts of, you know, change therapies that worked with the unconscious mind to try and heal myself. And here I am, and I honestly say to people, I'm just a few steps ahead on the path than you are. I'm not completely healed either. I still get triggered by stuff. And I've come to understand from my own higher guidance that is purposeful, because I'm triggered because there is more for me to learn and understand. I'm not at the end of that journey of knowing and growth yet. I wish I was, but I'm not. And maybe I will never get there in this lifetime. Now, I'm being told, Pristine, that your story is incredibly important to get out there, but you're being a little bit of a perfectionist about it also. There's a little bit of hypervigilance in your energy, which means that other people may really love your story and be very affected by it when it's put out there, but you're always going to have a bit of a negative sentiment override about it. Does that make sense to you? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So don't think that you have to have healed yourself and be perfect in the expression of your story. People want your authenticity. There are many people on the planet, including me, who have a similar story to you, but yours is unique. You've been through a lot of stuff, they're telling me, and you're incredibly strong that you're still standing here today and wanting to be of service to your brothers and sisters on the planet by writing this down and giving this story to other people so they can learn from it. So you've got to learn to manage your energy, manage those moments when you're triggered. What is it that you do for yourself when you're triggered and you're not in the present moment? You're actually in a past memory or a past experience unconsciously. Now, so I can only give you the sorts of things that I give to, you know, the things I do and the things I give to people. Exercise is really important. It balances both hemispheres of your brain. It can get you out of a triggered feeling. You know, you need to have a list of things that you do to deal with you being triggered. So mostly it's the coping strategies that we use. We eat, we drink, we eat chocolates and lollies. That's me. You know, all those addictions that we have in our life, they're what makes us feel better. There are coping strategies for that triggering. And most people have got an addiction of some kind. If they, you know, really, if we dig deep down inside us, we've all got an addiction of some kind. That was a coping strategy that we took on in childhood that helped us cope with our life. So I know that you're taking care of yourself. They're telling me that you're already really good at taking care of yourself, and you've got lots of stuff in your toolkit to take care of yourself. What I want to say to you right now that is most important is just be yourself and put your story out. Just write your story. Understand that as you write it, it's going to trigger you. So it's an emotional journey. And you've got to be strong in order to do it, but you are. But there are people that need to hear your story. Now, from the higher perspective, it doesn't matter whether we are affecting one person's life or a million people's life. One person's life that we affect is enough as far as our higher self is concerned for us to be fulfilling our life purpose. And you've got to remember that. When you're writing that, remind yourself This is for the one. There's one woman here that I am talking to, and it doesn't matter whether I'm perfect and whether I've got it all written perfectly, or whether I'm overly emotional, or I'm a bit obsessed about something, or, you know, I'm a bit biased about something. It doesn't matter. Just get it out there and write it. Does that help?
Thank you. Yes, it definitely does. It's been, I thought I could write it without it being as, like you said, triggering as it is. And that's what's really stopping me from, you know, doing the rest of the work on it. But I know it needs to be done.
Yes.
And I'm
So when
strong
you
enough
get
to
too
do it.
triggered, you need to walk away and come back to it another day when you feel strong enough.
Yeah.
Right? All of our emotions go up and down. Everybody's does. But if you've been a child that's had a narcissistic or traumatic childhood, and you probably have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, you're going to have bigger ups and downs. And you have to understand that that's just the way you are. And it's not that you can't create your own reality. That's not the truth of it all. It's that your reality, the life that you chose when you came here, was a difficult one.
Yeah. And it's just like me. When I looked at my numbers, I saw that I really overdid it.
So you know, there are plenty of people on the planet that have chosen easy lifetimes. You see them. They marry their childhood sweetheart. They live happily ever after. They're taken care of. They're with some bloke till the day they die. There's plenty of people around like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's
didn't choose that. You chose a very difficult path, but it's because you're so strong. You really embody that goddess energy. You know that.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much.
It's not a problem with creating your own reality. You're actually really good at creating your own reality, they're telling me. It's just this emotional stuff, which is hard. So it's just a matter of knowing you're going to have ups and downs, and on your down days saying to yourself, okay, I'm having a down day today. Not feeling good today. I need to eat that pizza today. Have that lollies.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Who's next?
Nobody else has sent a question yet.
Oh, no one else has a question. Oh, that's easy.
All right, here we go. I have one from Alita.
Okay, Alita. Hi.
Hello. I've been struggling for a long time with the same spiritual questions, trying to make progress, and recently someone kind of put it in a nutshell and said my, core wound is rejection, and my soul's purpose is to heal that wound, that it's been plaguing me for lifetimes. And I would like to know if, from your perspective, and Mott and guides, whoever you're in touch with, if you agree with that statement, and if I'm getting over it, if I'm making progress, kind of what do you see?
Okay, hang on a minute. I'm just going to scan your frequency. Just give me a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I scan your frequency, Alita, what I'm feeling is that you're a very heart-centered, sensitive, empathic, nurturing, caring person. That's who you are. You're also probably, I'm going to say, as far as your karma is concerned, in the middle of your development of consciousness as a soul. And so there's a lot of lifetimes behind you and a lot of life experience, but there's plenty in front of you too. And so it's often a good idea to know where we are on that karmic cycle. I'm getting a bit of feedback here. I'm not sure why. Is everybody muted? Maybe mute yourself. Yeah. I don't agree with the whole you're trying to heal this wound of rejection. Okay, from my perspective and from my higher guidance, we all have the wound of rejection. We have two wounds as human beings. One is, I'm not going to be loved and I'm not good enough. These are the wounds that we come into third dimensional reality with, that are the blueprint of third dimensional reality that we came here. Now, some people come here and they're not very sensitive and they're not very empathic and they don't really care about others. And so those wounds affect them in different ways. They bury them inside them. That's what narcissists are, right? They're frightened. They think they're not good enough. No one's going to love them. And so they cover up that need by being jerks and assholes, right? And pushing everybody away. You're not like that. You're a very loving, wanting to love, wanting to nurture, wanting to hold, wanting to be connected with. That's your energy. But we all have that wound. So I don't agree that you have a wound that needs to be healed in this lifetime. I'm not saying that we can't all be better at being confident and loving ourselves, because we are. But when I first started working as a hypnotherapist and an NLP specialist, and I was doing all that change stuff with people, I was doing a lot of work around people's self-esteem and self-confidence. And I don't really believe that we have self-esteem issues anymore. I think that if we are loved, then we know that we are lovable. And for those of us who weren't loved enough as children, then we have to learn that for ourselves, and it can take the whole of our lives. And that is what bringing in that goddess energy and understanding that you are the goddess within. So it's a matter of not thinking about it, but just being. I am the goddess. I am the goddess incarnate on earth. I am the goddess who's shown up as this. And I have all these quirks and insecurities and anxiety, a bit of nervousness and anxieties. This is who I am. Now, I can always be stronger and more confident and better, and that is the journey for all of us. You know, I don't trust people who don't doubt themselves. I don't trust people who never ask themselves, oh, did I do the right thing? Should I have said that? Was I nice to that person? Could I have done that differently? I don't trust people who don't do that. So I think that some of the criticism that you are turning against yourself is a natural use of your critical left brain mind, right? You know, we need to be humble and understand that we're not perfect and we're not there yet. People who think they're perfect are narcissistic, psychopathic, sociopathic, mentally ill. So all of us still have room for growth. We're always in the state of becoming a better person, becoming more of who we really are. Part of your problem, can you just unmute yourself for a minute? I don't think that your problem is, I think it's been exacerbated by someone saying to you that you have a rejection issue.
Okay.
Right? I think that has actually made the situation worse. I would never have said that to you. I don't think that's the way to go. When you truly love yourself and you feel that you are lovable and adorable and gorgeous and you have something to give to the world, when you feel that inside yourself, you don't care about who rejects you so much. We're all going to feel the sting of rejection to some degree, right? Not from Joe Bloggs that walks down the street, but from people we love. But when people that we love say something hurtful to us or speak to us in a way that makes us feel rejected, then that's them, their problem. It's not ours. I don't speak to people like that. I might have done when I was a bit younger and I didn't know. But as I've gotten older, I don't speak to people like that. When I love somebody, I'm always conscious of my words and what I'm saying. And I take responsibility for my own stuff. Is that making sense?
It does. And I have kind of a lifetime of evidence of feeling not chosen or, you know, rejected is the new kind of word. And I'm a writer, and one of the things I want is a traditional book deal for my historical novels. And so it's ironic because that's a business of receiving lots and lots of rejection. And I really want to sort of break the cycle or fix the karma or whatever you want to call it, so that I can move forward with my career and romance and, you know, finances, I guess the trifecta.
So what I need to say to you about that is that the way the law of attraction works. Now, I used to teach law of attraction back in 2002, before Abraham became big all over the planet, Abraham Hicks, before The Secret movie came out. I was actually teaching law of attraction, but I was teaching it from the perspective that when you hold a belief, when you believe something, you find evidence for it everywhere, because your unconscious mind projects it outside of you. So if you believe that you are going to be rejected, you will see everything that people say as a rejection.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's not a good idea for you to even consider that perspective, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We live in a world where marketing things and putting yourself out there to the public and getting people to like you and buy your products and read your books is a very difficult gig, and there's lots of people trying to do it. So you have to be a little bit aware that some rejection is going to come, and it doesn't mean that you're not a good writer, and it doesn't mean that you haven't got something wonderful to say to the world. So when it comes to your book, they're telling me that what you need to do is get it out there and imagine that the right people are going to get it and it's all going to work out, right? And really just turn yourself away from that belief that every negative response to you or people not taking up, you know, what you're offering is a rejection. It's not a rejection. I don't believe this thing that people say, well, you know, everything's supposed to be easy, and if I don't keep trying, but if it's too hard, I keep trying and I'm not getting what I need, I should stop trying. I don't believe that at all. I believe that people that really are doing their service and following their life purpose, keep doing what they're doing for the love of it, not because somebody else is purchasing it or somebody else is listening to them. So your book is for you to get your life purpose out into the universe, for you to exercise your energy as a creator, because that's what the goddess is. She creates, and this is a part of your creative self-expression, and just do it from that perspective and ignore everything else to the contrary. Okay. I know it's not easy. I've been rejected and abandoned enough in my life to know the pain and the suffering of all that. I'm not invalidating your feelings. But we have a choice. Am I going to focus on the bad shit in my life, or am I going to focus on where I want to go and what I want? And always focusing on where you want to go and what you want, and taking your attention away from anything to the contrary is the only path that works.
Okay. Thank you.
You've got lots of great stuff to say. You've got lots of good energy. And this is, you know, if I could give you the bigger perspective that I get from Goddess Mart and the guides, from the bigger picture, this is just one lesson you are learning in the overall higher picture, the perception of your higher self. You've lived many other lifetimes before and done many other things. This is what you're choosing to do in the here and now, because you're choosing to learn this stuff about, am I lovable? Am I good enough? Do I deserve to be adored? Yes. You've got to believe all that first. It comes from within you. And that's that connection to your inner goddess. So, you know, I'm not a great one for affirmations unless you say them as if you actually believe them. I am lovable. I am adorable. I deserve to be loved. And I've got something important to say. You have to keep saying that to yourself every day as if you believe it, and ignoring all of the stuff about rejection. Okay. Does that help?
Thank you. It does. Thank you.
Okay. Who's next?
We had Cassia next.
Okay. Hang on. I'm just checking here. Okay. All right, Cassia, unmute yourself, darling.
want me to ask, or what? I kind of had mine kind of intertwined, my questions, I guess. But I've been struggling a bit. I've been studying, and I think, like with the coronavirus, and kind of like I already have the kind of social anxiety already. So the coronavirus lockdowns and things like that have kind of compounded my anxiety, I suppose. But I have been studying. I've been studying a degree program, and I'm struggling, I guess, to find a balance between, you know, joy and work, just with the degree, because I'm not working paid work. Yeah, and just the last month or so, I've kind of been, I just had a day where I was, you know, instincts kind of started to kick in, and I started to feel good about myself again and about life again. But I really struggled to bring that to my studies, I guess. So I guess my question is, you know, can I find a balance between my ego and spirit or instincts, and is this degree program part of that balance? You know, is that my path, I suppose?
What are you studying, Cassia?
Environmental science and management.
Interesting. Okay, hang on a minute. Let me just tune in. Okay, getting a really strong feeling as I tune in that you need to keep doing this. You need to keep moving forward and studying and doing the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and what you need to do. That's what they're saying. It's really interesting to me. Your energy is really quite empathic. You're tuning into the energy of the planet in a way that you really probably don't understand or comprehend. And what's happening on the planet now is, you know, unprecedented in our lifetime. I mean, it's amazing. We've all been dealing with it really, really well, but we know that there is chaos all over the planet. And so this is bringing up a whole bunch of energy that you're actually tuning into. And then, so what happens when your intuition tunes into an energy, or you're empathically tuning into an energy? Our ego usually makes it about us.
Yeah.
And it's not always about us, and it's not always just about the other either. Like I'm on a lot of Facebook pages with sort of empaths and sensitive people, and they always want to project everything outside of themselves and say, oh, what I'm feeling right now is all about what's going on outside me. And I usually what I get is that it's both. You know, in psychological terms, we say everything is overdetermined. There's never just one reason for something. There's usually more than one reason. And I think that's very valid here when it comes to your question. Yeah. Some of it is what you've had to deal with on a personal level because of lockdown and COVID and studying and all of that stuff. To some degree, I feel like they're telling me your needs aren't really being met as well as they could be, as far as your needs for you know, love and social interaction and support and that sort of thing. Like I feel like you're a bit isolated at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, probably. And
so when your needs aren't being met, you know, then that's going to make you feel something. Yeah. So there's all of this stuff happening at the same time. And what you've got to understand is that our emotions and our feelings are a communication from our inner self, and then it's up to us to interpret that communication, and we don't always interpret it correctly. The ability to be able to interpret that energy and that information correctly is a gift, right? Or it's something that we can all practice and be better at. So just because you're interpreting what you're feeling now in a particular way, I think you need to put a big question mark over that and ask yourself, you know, the question is, am I right? Is this what my feelings are telling me? They are not telling you to leave your study.
Yeah.
They're telling you, they should be telling you to continue with it. There's a lot of stuff going on in the planet right now. Your own personal needs aren't being met. And that's what you should focus on, taking care of yourself and everything that you need more fully. So, you know, it's always interesting to me when I'm talking to women, because I say to them, okay, think of a child of yours or a small child in your family. You know that child needs food and clothing and a roof over their head. They need to be sent to school and they need to be learning new things, and they need lots of hugs and cuddles, and they need friends, and they need variety. We all know as women that that's what children need. We know it instinctively, but we very rarely give it to ourselves. So out of all of those things that I listed right now, that you, even though you're a grown up, that inner child is still within you. You still have all of those needs. It's just that as an adult, your job is to give all those needs to yourself and to make sure that you get all those needs met.
Yeah.
Are all those needs being met right now?
No, no, especially socially. I find it really difficult to even socialize. Like, this is okay because I've met you before, but you know, just with friendships and things, I just find it so hard to actually connect with people.
Yes.
So
yes, and you know, I hear this so frequently and so often from so many women. And if you are on a spiritual path and you're beginning to awaken, it's really common because you don't necessarily connect or get on with or have anything in common with a lot of the other people who are around you. And you become more choosy about who you're prepared to spend time with.
right.
And that's a really common thing. So there is something really lonely about awakening. There's something really lonely about our journey to, you know, become the highest potential of ourselves. It often requires us to spend a lot of time alone, but there's a fine line between spending time alone and spending too much time alone. And I'm feeling like you're spending too much time alone.
Yeah, probably.
And so what you have to do is you have to understand, well, there are people around you that you could be with. You might not particularly like them all that much. You may not really revel in the connection with them in the way that you'd like to, but it's still a source for you of that social connection. Remember, we are social beings, and our brains are set up to socially regulate. We only feel really, really, really safe when we are in the company of others. And I know that probably some of you like me are going to say, oh no, I feel better when I'm on my own. It's not true. We delude ourselves into thinking that's true, but we were meant to be, you know, in a community, and to have, you know, love and family and whatever around us. And not all of us have that.
Yeah. Okay.
So sometimes whatever you can get is good enough. There are people, they're telling me around you that you could be social with. You're not choosing to take the opportunity for those activities as much as you could.
Okay.
It doesn't have to provide all of your social needs when you go out and you be social with people, just some of them.
All right.
So focus on getting some of them met, get some social activity going so that you're not completely alone all the time, because that's not good for you either.
Yeah.
You're not going to be doing the best that you can do at your study or anything else when you have completely withdrawn from everybody and isolated yourself to the extent that you have.
Yeah, okay. All righty. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll try.
You will.
Thanks,
you will.
Reea.
Okay. Who's next?
I believe it's Sharon next.
Sharon. Hi, Sharon. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
Unmute. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. I can understand what, like, coming from being alone a lot. I'm now living alone, and I hadn't prior to this before because I was tripping around everywhere and living with people. And I tend to sort of really be. I've been sick, so I spent the last pretty much 2 weeks alone. It's okay, but also too, I'm at the point in my life where I am settled. You know, I got my kids through their father, all the stuff that happened with all of that life. And now, because I'm in my own house now, just think maybe it's time for me to meet somebody, you know, a man or a companion. I really would like someone. Yeah. But,
yeah. Another big question that comes up with women and with, you know, lots of women that I talk to, and comes up with myself too, you know, is this notion of, oh, we're single and we're not meant to be. We're meant to be in a relationship. That's the normal social construct of the blueprint of third dimensional reality. We're supposed to be 2 by 2, right? And we're not. We're 1. So it doesn't feel right. Let me tune into your energy, Sharon. Let me just see what's coming through from Mark. Okay. So what's coming through for you today is that there is a relationship, a possibility there for you, and it actually feels really good. I'm getting a little bit overwhelmed by this. This isn't what I always say by any stretch of the imagination. It's very normal for me to go, no one around for you. I'm not feeling that with you, Sharon. I'm feeling that there is somebody around in your field, in your area, but you're going to have to put yourself out there to some degree in order for this to happen. Have you tried online dating?
No.
I'm not someone who thinks this is the only prescription for meeting people, but I'm actually feeling right now that this might be an online meet for you.
Okay.
That's what I'm actually getting. So this is an older gentleman who isn't a player by any stretch of the imagination and probably isn't very familiar with online dating as you aren't, but is at the point of time in his life where he's kind of done everything he needed to do and is just looking for companionship. And so, you know, it's not the tall, dark and handsome guy that's going to sweep you off your feet or anything like that. This feels like a real soul connection, like familiarity and comfort as you meet each other. So definitely somebody there for you. Those feelings of intuition that you've got that the time is right for you to meet someone are definitely real. That's your own high guidance coming through, trying to give you a little push.
Yeah, I need a big push kick up the bum, actually. It's so easy not to do that sort of thing because it's like, I don't know, I find it quite confronting. It's all the other things I've done in my life. It's like...
Exactly. So, you know, only 37, the statistics say only 37% of people meet online now, which leaves the other, you know, other huge percentage of people that still meet through friends and family and through work. But you're not likely to meet anyone through your work at the stage that you're at in your life, and nor are you really likely to meet anyone through family. The friends thing is still a possibility, but correct me if I'm wrong, you don't go out much anymore.
No.
So that's why I'm feeling that you need to give this a bit of a change up and have a go at online dating. I'm not saying Tinder, although, you know, that certainly there are people on there, but just have a go at it.
All right.
Be careful and be very discerning. But I just feel like there's this older man there that you're going to meet fairly quickly after you get online, and you're just going to feel comfortable with each other, and it emerges more as a friendship and a connection rather than, you know, anything magical. But it will end up being magical because there's a karmic connection between the two of you. Okay.
Yeah, and I suppose because I've had the narcissistic bad relationship, and which was the last one, it just sort of puts you at, you know, sort of like that blockage up, to go.
Scares the shit out of you, and you're like, oh my God, rather be on my own than be with another narcissist. But you know what the red flags are, Sharon. You're not going to do that again. I think your radar for narcissist is very finely attuned. This man isn't anything like that. He's much more quiet and gentlemanly and soft-spoken, and he's not he's not that type. So you need to remember your beliefs create your reality. So you need to set that belief aside. There is somebody there for you. You're only looking for one. Right?
That's what I've always said, just one. I don't want to go through the whole, you know, sort of like dating thing too.
No. And look, you know, be really careful about how you're doing it. The one good thing that's happened since COVID is people are much more likely to get online. So don't even bother going and having a coffee date with anyone. Jump on Zoom.
Yeah.
If you meet someone and you chat with them for a little while and you think that they might be somebody who's nice and you might want to have coffee with them, jump online and meet them first in the safety of your own home. And then if that turns out all right, then go and have coffee with them.
Yeah. Yep.
You don't have to meet them face to face anymore. Thanks, COVID.
And I actually think I've shut down a bit of my empathic stuff as well too within myself.
Well, I would agree with you. When I feel into your energy, you do feel shut down, and it's fear that's shutting you down, and a sort of lack of belief that anything could be any different.
Yeah.
So you have to be really careful of that self-talk.
Yeah, and I mean, I was so much more open in the shop than I am now. Yeah, so you're much more guarded because a couple of things have happened with people and
Yeah.
had, experiences. So it's really hard to open that up again, but it helps with, when I get back in my work, which I actually need. Yes. Yes.
You do need to get back into work. For anyone in Newcastle, Sharon used to own the Rainbow Runner shop in Beaumont Street where they did readings, and she sold all that beautiful stuff. And that's where I know her from. Yeah, I mean, it's the case, isn't it? When you're having to go to work every day, you're out there and you're meeting people naturally. But when you stop going to work every day, as lots of people have, not just old people like us, but, lots of people have stopped getting up and going out to work every day.
And I'm working from home too. I'm working from home as well now.
Yeah.
The contract that I'm doing with Sky too.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting out as much.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah, and that's happening to a lot of people. It's great working from home in your pajamas, but at the end of the day, we still need that social contact.
Yeah.
And that's what's lacking. So, yeah, get out of your comfort zone, Chaz. Get out there.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Georgina.
Unmute yourself, thanks.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, I just I have a question. I just wanted to know, I'm sort of in the process of a relationship breakdown, and we have children.
Oh.
And I wanted to know if I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's one of those questions I'm not prepared to answer for you here, Georgina. I really need to see the photo of your partner.
Oh, that's right.
Tune into the energy between the two of you in a personal reading, so that I can really, especially where children are involved. Some psychics aren't like this, but because, I've been through many broken relationships myself and I'm a psychotherapist, I would never tell anyone, yes, leave your husband or whatever, especially where children are involved, because I know the effect that it has on children. It can be catastrophic. So there's got to be a really good reason, and it has to be the point of no return, and you have to have done everything you could possibly do, before you actually step foot outside that relationship, because you're going to have to, explain to your kids later on why you left their father. And, mothers always cop the blame. So I'd love to answer that question for you, but think about booking a personal reading for that. Do you have another question?
That's really, I guess that's really the big question. I guess I'm full of anxiety at the moment, and I don't know how to get that out of my system.
Okay, hang on. Let me just tune into that and see if there's any messages coming through for you. So just hold on. Actually, Georgina, when I tune into your vibration, what I've got to say is that you're quite a well-developed soul. You're quite wise. You've got a quite clear way of seeing the world, a perception of reality that is quite wise and trustworthy. So as a general thing, I'm going to say to you that you really need to trust yourself more than you do. You're someone who is a little bit of a perfectionist in their energy. You can be a little bit obsessive about things, thinking. There's that energy in you that you really want to do the right thing. Like you've got quite strong principles and ethics and morals about doing the right thing and going the extra mile, putting all your energy into sort of being the best person that you can be, which is a great thing, but it can be a little bit difficult sometimes because you drive yourself too hard. So just as a general thing, I'm going to say to you, there's no reason for you to be nervous. No matter what happens to you, you are always going to take care of everything. You're intelligent, you're strong, you've got lots of resources, and you've got lots of life experiences behind you. You know what to do in all sorts of different situations. You're a great problem solver, they're telling me. Right? So you just need to trust yourself a little bit more. You're going through a really difficult thing. There's nothing more difficult in life than relationship issues, especially, you know, with partners where there are children concerned and you're thinking of, maybe I have to leave this relationship. That's as hard as it gets. So it would be natural and normal for you to be in a moment of self-doubt and wondering whether you're doing the right thing. And we all need someone to talk to. When I'm worried about whether I'm doing the right thing, I've got mentors I go to, apart from my spirit guides. I've got mentors that I go to confirm that I am seeing things correctly, right? Because it's important. So I think that you're very good at decision making. I think that you've got a lot of skills and gifts that you're not really 100% aware of all of the time. And my advice to you today, my message from Spirit today would just be, relax a little bit. Don't be so frightened. No matter what goes on, what happens in the future, you're going to manage it. It's all going to turn out okay. There's nothing really for you to be frightened of here, but you have a big decision to make. And so who would make a decision like that without giving it due diligence and thinking about it very carefully over a long period of time and weighing up all of the consequences and all of your options? So you have to do that, but you don't have to be frightened, because no matter what happens, whether you stay or whether you go, you're going to be okay and your kids are going to be okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Did I miss anyone?
No.
Everyone's had a reading now?
Yeah, and Gemma's
Gemma's had to go. She's got 3 little boys. She's a single mum, so she's had to run off. Okay. So what I want to do right now is I just want to close our circle today. And again, we're not going to take too much time to do that. You know, I'm a big believer in meditation being our path to our inner self and to our divine wisdom. But I'm a big believer in making it fit into our lives, and it doesn't need to be for a long time. It can be done very quickly. I'm pretty grounded and practical in my energy, so I like things to be able to work for me. So let's just close our circle today by closing our eyes again, imagining again that you're standing in the forest, holding hands to all of the other women in this circle. That beautiful divine white light with pink and violet edges around it in the middle of our circle, the light of our divine selves. Let's call on God, Goddess, all that is. Let's call on the Goddess and all the goddesses through all time. I call on the Goddess Mart and Isis. I call on the Goddess Reea, and you can personally call on any goddesses that you feel personally connected with to hear our call, to help us to become the fullest potential that we came to Earth to be, to send love, blessings, healing and guidance to ourselves, first and foremost, and to everybody that we love who is incarnated on planet Earth at this time. Feel yourself now in your goddess energy. Imagine that you are exactly who I say you are, the embodiment of the goddess on planet Earth. For some of you, it may help to see the goddess in front of you, your higher self, and step into that energy. Remember, your imagination is very real. Whatever you imagine is true somewhere in some dimension or some time-space experience. So imagine yourself as the goddess, connected to your own sacred, divine, feminine, mother self. That you have everything that you need, that you create your own reality. You are filled with love and healing and wisdom, and you offer that in abundance to yourself and to everyone that you come in contact with. That you're here on earth for a reason, and that reason is to be of service to your brothers and sisters on the planet and to learn and grow in consciousness. And so it is.